Welcome back, and sincerely thank you for sticking with us through that one. That's an 82-kill game. You know, Hindu was talking about, Mifflin's still here with me, Hindu was talking about whether they had a harder time casting it, whether we are going to have a harder time breaking it down. Doug had the worst decision-making experience, I think, of his life in that game. 82 kills. There's no way. I don't know how you choose which ones to follow. He doesn't, apparently. I got it in my ear. You don't. You just hope that... I was going to say, you hope you're on screen for some of the kills. I think anywhere on the map there were kills going on. What is the most amount of kills you've ever... Is that the most amount of kills you've ever seen in a game?
You know,
82.
It is a lot of kills. It's not the most I've ever seen, but competitively...
What's the most you've ever seen?
I've seen over 100 kill games.
What?
For sure. But I will say, I had a similar game once where we had a sub come in. Yep. We lost Cope there. Shouts to Bossy Bee for facilitating that Con Fiesta.
Yeah, it's obviously the lack of Cope. The only thing that changed from Game 1 to Game 2 is a Bossy Bee subbing in on that Khepri. Gore was unhappy with the 0 wards placed, as you maybe should be, so that is a 0 for Bossy Bee, also a 0 for Sops in the wards placed. I don't know how you make heads or tails of this one. Diesel had a pretty huge game on that Houdinis.
Oh, check this sick highlight right here. I bet something dope happens. Oh.
Break it down, Miff.
What
happens here?
There, and they died. That's first blood. Look, 1 minute later, there's already 4 kills. And we're going to get another one right here.
Yeah, I think there were like 13 kills or something ridiculous like that.
I think we were
about
at
10 minutes into this
30 at 10 minutes or something crazy.
Yeah, and I figured it would slow down from there, and obviously that proves how much I know because it only increased. There were some
slow-mo, here we go.
There were some good play. I mean, out of 82 kills, you're bound to have some great moments, right? Not all of the 82 kills were bad, but you know, I think by and large it shows that
Look at the slow-mo. Yo, nuts. Thank you, Fawn, for these sick replays.
Well, it's fair enough. Here's a good one. Actually, this is Archer MVP. The perfect timed arrow.
He started backing.
Oh.
Nobody hit him, dude. It was the back Archer. That's
all
a
right.
cool
So
call
hear me
from
out.
Hindu.
Hear me out. You buy the 2020 season pass, so you get new content for all the gods coming out this year. We make an Archer god that's just that Archer, and all he has is a bow and arrow with no abilities. What do you think?
Yeah, we'll call him Minion 34,
Yep.
and you can only play him if a Bossy Bee's in your game.
Fair enough. And you obviously have to be at this elo, so all you high elo players, make sure to grab Minion. Was it Minion 34?
Minion 34, the homie.
Well, that was match number 2. Picks and bans for match number 3. I don't know where you go from here. I mean, to be fair, the picks and bans for match number 2 were fine. It was I would say a relatively normal pick and ban phase. I will give you props because you totally called the composition that they were going to bring to the table.
I really did. You're right.
It pains me to have to give you props for it, but you did. And
Yeah.
you know what? I think that's the price we pay. That's the blood price we pay. You somehow untangle that web of a composition, and we get an 82 kill game on the back end of it. Picks it, or bans rather, first 5.
Standard again, as we've seen, yeah.
Right. I don't know. You didn't expect it going into the last game. Still standard here. Merlin does take a seat, though, for this one. We'll maybe assume we're going back to some realm of normalcy here. Hun Batz taken first overall.
Yeah, you have to imagine that now, after all those jokes, they kind of do want to get this placement. It's all about their placement now. They get to decide which group they get to play in at the end of these qualifying period. I would imagine Houdinis, they've been in this league for so long at this level that they're not going to throw it away trolling. And it looks like, yeah, they're willing to pick some real guys. We got a Heimdallr and Naja on the board.
Yep.
Looking not bad. Hun Batz is going to bring a lot of team fight potential, and as we saw last game, there's going to be a lot of team fighting, so won't hurt Jing Wei. You know, we saw a lot of deaths. If she dies, she's going to fly straight back in the lane. Everything's making sense to me. We're seeing the Loki hover, and I don't want to see it.
You don't want. Okay, you don't want to
see
it. Is that okay? You're not going to see it. You're going to see the Thanatos instead. Do you like Thanatos better than you like Loki?
Absolutely. Thanatos brings like that similar presence as Thor with the globals. But I'm hesitant to go in-depth on any of this analysis, knowing what we just saw. It's going to be an arena match. I'm calling it now.
You think you surpass 82 kills in this one? We make it to 83 beyond.
That's a high bar to set. And I would feel bad for Gore.
We'll play Vegas in this one. You set the over/under line.
Okay.
And people can take the over or the under on. What do you think?
All right, I'm going to call it 65. Take the over/under, Chad.
65 kills, over or under, is where Mifflin has set the line. Janus locked in. Fafnir as well. One of the first times we've seen him, an unfortunate 0% win rate. To provide some analysis to what could be, hopefully, another a serious game here to round out this set. What do you see in the Fafnir?
The Fafnir is going to bring a lot of just potential to burn objectives. Once he turns into that dragon, he's got the dots available. He's got decent ability to poke out and just like find those kills. But it's really about that stim that he gives his entire team. He's going to burn Gold Fury very quick, especially assuming he's going to pick up a Girdle. Or he can go to the PBM school and pick up the Sunder. It's whether or not he wants to focus on that objective or on the picks.
Well, a Bossy Bee is going to return to the Khepri from Mexiety here.
Rough.
Gore is going to hope for a 1-up at least on that ward placement. Set rounding out the draft for the Houdinis. What do you think of their composition?
You know what? It looks good to me. Sure. Everything's pretty standard. We've got assassins, guardians, mages, another assassin, and a hunter. Like, that's standard
Yeah,
SMITE,
nothing
you know
at the top of the screen is telling you that you're missing a certain role in this one.
Yeah.
82 kills, 65 is the over-under on this one. Graham, which do you take?
I don't really care, if I'm honest. I mean, let's just get this over with, because after the last game, I'm not expecting much more. Go join me in the cast again, though. We'll see how this one plays out. The picks are interesting. The players are not interesting, or like, this is the most interesting I think they've been for a while. And yeah, you're getting a different tone from me now, because after the last one, I'm just like, yeah, okay, we're going to mess around. We can mess around too, Go, right?
Yeah,
right?
It's weird, because I don't know what to expect. Because sometimes you get that like silly middle game where like, if you're Mexiety, you have such a lead that you're like, okay, cool, we can play around, we can win this one, no problem. And then, you know, it turns into what it did, and you come back into this game and you're like, all right, guys, now we're tied up. Let's actually win.
Let's see what happens then.
Sometimes it goes wrong.
Invade coming out from Shiaaaaa at the start of this one on the Fafnir, looking to try and slow down the clear speed from Sibyl in the jungle is the main focus here. You get the buff, it's even better. But there's the benefit this year, the Hand of the Gods consumable coming into play to slow it down. But the problem is, it's not just about stealing the buff, is it? It's doing stuff like that.
And being able to try and find just a little bit of poke, force some of, well, the potions you can out of the jungler and cause them to, well, forego their path, which is what they've done. Unfortunately for Shiaaaaa, it ends up costing them first blood over in the solo lane.
I just don't think we cast kills at this point. We just
this game, last game was all fights. This game's only analysis.
Focus on analysis of the builds and the decision making and whether or not it's going to work out well for them. The red buff did get secured, at least for Mexiety Onset on the right hand side. And meanwhile, you can see them looking to take up the Oracle. It's 2 men pushing up into the duo 2v1. They're going to get a lot of pressure over there.
They can find a kill right here. I actually really like what Thanatos can do in this situation. If he has his Death Scythe up, that's a kill, that's a heal, potentially a second kill. There's a lot of snowball potential for that, for him as an assassin. Unfortunately for Mando, he's not able to find it there. And that's the thing I think I like specifically about what both of these teams have done, is bringing assassins into the solo lane, which is something we've started to see a little more often. But picking it up, something as far-fetched as a set and a Thanatos was not something I would have predicted today.
No, not rightly so, and now looks like Heeed will have survived for a second on that side. A little bit lower in terms of kills because it was 2 for 2 at 2 minutes. Maybe we can get it 2 for 2 again, but at the moment, it's Mexiety Onset in the duo lane that's got a bit of pressure here so far. I'm just wondering what we're going to see out of Diesel here this game. Will he go for the Devourer's Gauntlets, or will we see the Bloodforge? Because just lately we've seen a lot of Bloodforge coming out.
Honestly, I'm wondering if it's going to rely, well, it might rely more on just where his gold is coming through, right? If he has enough gold for it, Bloodforge is a really nice immediate power punch that you're going to be able to bring in, and plus the shield's really helpful, especially in moments like this. If you can get a kill while you're being ganked to potentially set you up as SpreeeN, he's going to look for something, but not really successfully so far.
No, instead a bit more damage than bargained for. I like the idea, but unfortunately, Mexiety Onset will slip the noose. Bit of a split damage situation there, more than anything else in that matchup. Mid laners, though, should be heading back to base, I'd say relatively soon, because they'll be looking to try and get... Is it going to be Boots first before Kronos, which we've seen a lot of just lately, or will which one will it be?
Normally it's Boots first, finish Kronos a little bit later. Boots are just... They're so useful. They're so helpful. Granted, like you're going to get cooldown reduction from it, helpful for everybody. You're going to get mana from them. You're going to get movement speed from them. You got 3 ticks there. That's what you need. Fortunately for Bayroneri there, he didn't have enough to finish them off, so maybe backs a little bit too soon. And that's kind of the biggest question. It's one of the things junglers have to face as well, where it's just, when do you back? Do you back for tier 2? Is that enough for you? Because you're not getting the tier 3 passive, you're not getting all of the benefits you might have, but you're getting something, and specifically as someone like Janus, yes, you can walk through walls, but only if you're close enough to get to them. Boots 2 will help you at least get to the wall.
And now with the current situation, it looks like we're getting a bit of an actual game, which I was a little bit unexpected.
Yeah, I still don't know where to go with the pace right now. I'm not sure if like the minute we get into like real game, they'll like switch it on and start fighting again.
Exactly. Well,
you never know.
To the boots in mid, you saw sops hang around a little bit longer. He's got full shoes of focus online right now as Nesfor takes a bit more poke than bargain for from Diesel on this left-hand side. And he's really landed all those basics on Shiaaaaa as well. Good job at just chipping away at the damage charts. XP charts currently up on your screen. And it's all sops and MandoWarrior so far.
And a lot of it, specifically for Mando, has been poking out this set as well as setting himself up, farming really well, but stealing away buffs. And he, again, has that execute online now, which is going to make it, I think, even harder for Heeed to stay in this fight.
But sops got aggressive, looking for a kill on Bayroneri. He won't find the ultimate, and now he's in an awkward world of hurt because he just used the Sentinel to jump into this fight. Windfire wheels through, and the up-down's good. Bayroneri will get credit for the kill. And now we're tied up at 2-2 at 4 minutes.
That's a good kill to get. If you have two people that are out farming you and you have to get rid of one of them right now, like the Thanatos is going to naturally fall off. You don't need to focus on him. He's going to become an execute machine later on, maybe a stun machine depending on where he hits it. Sops just gets more powerful with time. Like a fine wine, Scylla just gets better and better as Fear No Evil comes out in the solo lane looking for another kill over here.
He should be able to find it too. Heeed will escape for now, but very, very low. Somersault in, and the basics won't kill him. No! Neither will the execute. MandoWarrior off the mark there. The circle just needs to be bigger, because when he was playing Chak, he would have hit that.
And you know what? He hit several like 4-man ults. I don't think we're going to see a single one here, unless they happen to just be all standing on a single Gold Fury for whatever reason. But
interesting.
He's still looking for the fight.
Yeah, Kingslayer is online though, so the lifesteal comes through, and now the rotation is there from SpreeeN. And MandoWarrior didn't expect that. Funny enough, and that actually works out in Houdini's favor. Hammer in mid, just off the mark from Shiaaaaa there, as sops will clear out this wave. And with that, the pressure's relieved for the time being. Gold lead ever so slightly so far in Mexiety Onset's favor. And that's just, well, I guess superior farming, I would say. Or is that just that first blood?
Well, it's a little bit of first blood, but I'd also say a lot of the jungle steals that have been coming through, specifically that blue buff that keeps going the way of Mando.
Ooh,
and that's
nice
going to be an Ivan monster.
Play,
There's a huge amount of damage from sops to get a kill.
Really good play for that, actually, from sops on that play. He uses the Iron Monster and then detonates the crush after the fact. And that secures it onto Bayroneri there in the mid lane. Right side, Tomaku in favor of Heeed, who's starting to get himself back in this one now. He's, funny enough, up a kill now on Mando as a blanking from Shiaaaaa left.
Well, he's going to be able to get out of that one, at least for now. But I think this shows precedence where it needs to. Houdinis are looking for ganks on the lanes that are causing them trouble. They get a kill into mid. They get another one right now with a snipe from downtown. And they're shutting down Mando. They're getting rid of the things that have been causing them the most trouble and starting to set themselves up for success. They took last game for what it was, and they're coming back into this one a little bit more serious.
Yeah, for 2 seconds, and we'll see how long it'll last. Gold Fury is available on this left-hand side. Oracle's been taken down. Bossy Bee bite off more than he can chew. Nice hammer from Shiaaaaa, and now the transformation. Remember, Bossy Bee no longer has the abduct to get back to tower range. The stun didn't hit its mark there, and he will use the ultimate on himself to make sure he stays alive, but I don't think he really needed to. He just misjudged the amount. Interesting to see him use the ult over the shell option there as well, funny enough.
The shell is, I mean, maybe going to be a long, well, not maybe, is going to be a longer cooldown.
That's true.
But maybe could be more useful there. It kind of depends on the engagements you've been finding yourself in. I haven't seen Bossy Bee around enough to save Diesel specifically, so I guess if you're going to ult someone and the only person around is yourself, you might as well go for it.
Yeah, I mean, you're right, the cooldown will be up a little bit regular, but it also means that, you know, Shell's more short range is how I kind of see it. Whereas, you know, at least the ultimate's going to be up a little bit more. Mando trying to take on the trade against 2 now after trying to strip away this blue buff. Going to have to try and buy himself some time and look for an ultimate away, but he won't get time to. Good scythe, however, will delay Heeed, and that will buy him enough time to get to the sky. But can he get back to safety? Because you can see she is now rotated over here as well. And sops meets Bayroneri in the mid lane as Bayroneri was trying to rotate into this fight for a moment. Mando's going to be fine and resustaining back up, but he's still on the wrong half of the map.
He's trying to farm up and get those minion kills for his passive to proc, but that's going to be the Windfire wheels up into the air. Sibyl is coming around at the bottom. Mando's still alive, and he's going to get saved here.
The scythes come through. Fear No Evil's good. Sibyl
That's a good
gets
kill.
one. Oh, he should do, but Mando will take pair of them. Mando just did a good job of surviving in a weird way of putting it. Heed's now back in lane as Bayroneri does get the 1v1 up against Scylla in the mid lane.
I'm still living in the fact that Mando is alive, one, but the turnaround, that was just incredible from them. A good scythe, good timing for him, and kind of maybe more unfortunate for the Windfire wheels to let him live that long,
and now
more
Mando
than anything.
Still diving in for Heeed, just continuing to eat all this damage, but he will sustain after the kill,
Just
and
outside.
that will keep him just about alive. Tell a lie, he'll die to minions in the tower. Fantastic play from MandoWarrior. So good.
Still a little bit of aggressiveness from Mexiety, I think, that might not be there in 2 weeks.
Yeah, good blink from SpreeeN. However, great ultimate from Bossy Bee to make sure they won't continue to chase him. But now it's Bossy Bee in a world of trouble himself. Luckily enough, he's got sops on the rotation, though, so he might get a bit of backup if he needs it. And he might just. However, Shiaaaaa chased all the way down to Diesel and found the kill. I'm a monster off the mark from sops as Queen Bossy Bee will get back to the tier 2 tower. It's now sops in the jungle looking to fall back as Houdinis try and strip away some jungle.
And I like what Sops is doing. I think, you know, the hopes of Crush slowing him down enough to connect I'm a monster is always going to be there. We saw him do it earlier in mid lane. But it's just not enough against the Najah. The Najah just doesn't seem to care about the slow at all. And that was even without speed buff, let alone when speed buff is going to be on. Talaria boots, it's a pretty big steroid to your speed and just how fast you're going to be running around. So it's been helpful, at least in escaping those kills, and it's allowed Bayroneri to go ahead and get a little bit further ahead here. It's 3-3, but compared to Sops 1-3, he's feeling himself on solid ground.
I think the biggest difference is Bayroneri on the Janus. Janus is always this god that he's lower in the god pool in terms of win ratio. He really relies on his team, and his damage, well, it's not that good. It's not as confirmable as it is on other gods like a Scylla, for example. So we'll see how Bayroneri can use those portals like he's doing now. Space and time will hit sops. Chase on from Shiaaaaa, but the root crush combo will just at least slow down Shiaaaaa enough to give him an appeal. And obviously, with now Sibyl rotating towards this mid lane, sops should survive for a moment or two. And he'll head back towards base. Mando up against Heeed will just continue this battle of assassin versus assassin, and Mando's just tanky enough at this point, but Heeed is starting to get online, and that's where set can become more scary.
That's, I think, the biggest thing. The power curve for both of these gods is pretty much the opposite of each other. Thanatos starts out really strong early, and granted, the way you play him in late game is what dictates is he strong late or not, but Mando's looking to just be tanky, execute, stun, whatever you want to have with him, as Diesel right now is looking for a kill. No tower shot waiting for him when he lands, but that's incredibly close.
But he could be in trouble now, because here comes a 4-man rotation down to the left-hand side through the jungle from Houdinis, and there is no escape from that fantastic little ultimate from SpreeeN, if I'm honest, as MandoWarrior dies under a tier 1 tower on the right-hand side again. So that brings it to 4-4 for him in that lane, up against Heeed, who's now 4-2-0. After, honestly, I feel like Heeed should have probably lost this laning phase with how dominant Mando was at the beginning.
You know, they slowed it down. It's still 16 kills in 10 minutes, but
still slower, you're right.
Granted, compared to where we were, they've definitely been able to kind of keep control of the pace a little bit better. Bayroneri is the one that's deadly right now. I'm a monster going to miss. No, it's going to be the Aegis.
Nice little juke out. Hammer does hit Sops, but Sops still chasing him. Root and the crush off the mark. And now the hammer hits Sops, and the damage is good. Just continue to breathe that hot breath from Shiaaaaa onto him. The Sops has got a second to get away. The Sibyl Vortex misses, and the crush will connect. Don't do that, Camp. Thank you, Sops. Sibyl now under pressure after trying to go in and keep the aggression going. He needs a bit more help. Gets it from Bossy Bee, who's going to keep him revived up. SpreeeN just trying to time that one out, but it won't be allowed to, thanks to the teleport to Monkey.
Now, Sops still running around, and unfortunately for him, there's going to be a set clone waiting for him before he can get under that tower and find himself safe. And you know when he first went into that, he wanted that camp, but right now it's going to be instead Thanatos who wants a kill. Nesfor sends him packing for a little while.
Love that idea, though. You know, Thanatos goes, hey, you want to be in the sky? Heimdallr says, sure, go back up there, and sends him into a different realm. 11-9, go for you on the cards, potentially, as Diesel rotates over, but with no one else around, it's going to be possible. Meanwhile, the mid lane, sorry, the support, I should say, Bossy Bee there, only level 8 so far, a couple of levels down on Shiaaaaa, and hasn't managed to finish off those Gauntlet of Thebes just yet, so the stacks are a little bit further behind.
And that's honestly a big deal when it comes down to it. Bossy Bee has been getting poked out in a lot of these fights, and he just doesn't have the prots to come through. It's going to take him longer to stack it up at this rate, and that just means you're going to see Shiaaaaa in complete, again, opposition to last game, find himself even more of a lead, maybe more productive in team fights and in setup than what we got to see out of him. Granted, you need a little bit more surrounding cast to make sure this works. You can get some good poke in the jungle here, but you need rotations from one side or the other. I just got thrown off because I forgot how much Heimdallr's picture and Fafnir's picture looks so similar on the mini-map.
Sops going to die in the mid lane there. Great little pull out. Bayroneri in 2. However, Sibyl with the Fear No Evil will secure it, make it 1-for-1. Both junglers get the kill, but now MandoWarrior making the rotation from solo lane will allow Sibyl to get himself a double. Next on the list could be Shiaaaaa, who will jump back towards the safety of his tier 1 tower, but it's not all that safe against this team. Left-hand side, Nesfor trying to split push, and Shiaaaaa now getting dived in by Mando and Sibyl. Execute this time from Mando will actually execute. Great work from him. And now we're tied up again in terms of kills, where the gold is still in Mexiety Onset's favor.
No Gold Fury as of yet, but a good rotation looking to come in mid. Sibyl and Bossy Bee incredibly low. This should be a couple of kills. Bossy Bee uses the ult on himself. Stands still. Don't think he meant to do it immediately there.
Yeah, generally the stand still from players sometimes gives you that idea of like, oops. You know, he just gives you that sort of verbal cue of like, my bad.
Oh no.
And it didn't even pay off for him either.
Yeah.
Well, it didn't pay off for him either, because he died too. Blinking from Sops, though, will secure Nesfor in response. I guess it's one of the benefits of having the Scylla with the Blink combo, with that nice little long-range route. But now stood against the wall, gets hit by the sash, waits it out to jump to the Sentinel. Chase still on. Beach used. I'm a Monster used. Unstable Vortex hits, as does the basic attack from Bayroneri. And that gets another kill on the board. So Sop goes 1-for-1 and heads back to base to try and continue building items as the man fight in the solo lane continues.
This has been going back and forth.
Yep.
Well, I will argue back and forth, but as it's shifted a little bit later on, it's been going more one way than the other. Heeed just outlives what Thanatos can do right now. The cooldown isn't there, no Jotun's Wrath or anything for Mando.
Diesel wins one trade, and Bayroneri now in a bit of trouble because now Sibyl's on the rotation round. No through space and time available to get him away. Fear No Evil connects, beats Aegis now used. Needs a portal soon. Instead, he'll walk straight back towards Diesel, unfortunately, and give Diesel his second kill and second rage stack of the game.
That's going to be huge. There's actually a point in the first game when it comes down to it. It was actually Sops, not Diesel, but their carry. It was Izanami at the time. Once she got Rage, the stacks were very, very slow to come. Now around for 2 there right now for Diesel. 3 looking as long as he keeps making these rotations. It's going to be more kills, more damage. And that crit online earlier means that we might soon be on pace to match last game.
We're catching back up again. I had a feeling something just in my bones told me that the start was something, you know, we were kind of hopeful, but it doesn't seem to be the case anymore. I'm a Monster will connect. Nesfor will fall down. Shiaaaaa did get hit by that. Root chase is on. Root off the mark, and the hammer will connect. Now Sops with no beads will at least get the ultimate out of Bossy Bee, who gets him back towards the tier 1. But now Shiaaaaa going to continue the chase alongside SpreeeN, and that's one dead Scylla.
Well, it's not going to be met with much. You have Hun Batz starting to rotate over. Fear No Evil is down right now. And Diesel's locked in the 1v1 against the mage in the jungle. Going to be able to find SpreeeN, catch him out in the mid camps.
Yeah, interesting.
Find themselves another kill.
And now Shiaaaaa on the chase too. Funny enough, looking at Sops' build, went for the Polynomicon this game after the Chronos pendant. So really looking to try and utilize those basics as additional forms of damage. I don't mind seeing the the Polynomicon on a Scylla, but I just think it's a little bit early in the build.
It's definitely a little early. You might want to be able to swap it. I mean, at this point, I want some Pin coming online, and that might turn into a Charon's coin that he has right now. But my mindset is, realistically, we've seen I'm a Monster and Crush come through and not quite kill a lot of people, so he gets that Lex auto to find that kill. It's definitely a more aggression-oriented build, but with the way they're playing, it fits.
Really does. It really does fit. Heeed up against Mando again, and Mando going to find out, like, after laning phase, Thanatos will struggle against Set. He already struggled once, and Heeed now at 7-3-0. He's not done too bad considering he was not performing very well on that very first little fight in the laning phase.
Yeah, most of those 3 kills kind of came hand in hand with each other. A lot of bully from Mando early on. And I'm going to say it this way. Thanatos and laning phase doesn't sound like the 2 separate identities that should be put in a sentence together. Mando's been able to do it for us here. And right now he's soloing a Pyromancer. It's actually going to be able to find it for his team. Might set themselves up for something great because SpreeeN's now low on the left-hand side.
SpreeeN should end up finding the kill if he's lucky here towards Sibyl before he lands. Not to be, however, the shell from Bossy Bee alongside the ult will keep him topped up in time to survive. on that. Now Sibyl needs to get away from the chase on from Shiaaaaa. Meanwhile, the mid laner's going at it one more time. Neither getting the tail end of that. Sibyl goes back in. He'll pick up Nesfor on the right-hand side. Now that he's got one tier 1 tower, he's going to look for a tier 2 and another kill on towards poor old MandoWarrior. I don't really mean poor old MandoWarrior, but maybe he can turn this around.
Do it. Oh, he got baited.
He did, and now he's trying to run back to the tier 1 again. Skewer not available for a second or two. Blink in, and it's Heeed that bit off more than he can chew. Shout out to the passive from Jing Wei coming into play and helping him out, as the supports will have a support off in the duel.
Classic. It's almost the exact same that you would expect out of the solo lane. Not a lot gets done. They just smack each other for a little while, decide, man, you're not going to die, I'm not going to die. Let's go do the jungle or anything we can find.
Unless they choose to dive a tier 1 tower as well and tank it up for 15 shots. On top of that, Mando, though, level 17 up against SpreeeN here, gets hit by the sash. How's this battle going to go? Is Mando tanky enough to hold off the storm? He's got a bit of sustain in this kit. And with minions alongside, that was a nice little play from SpreeeN, I think. But it might not be enough damage on landing. However, the basic after the fight will just be enough. Mando can find it, and now SpreeeN will march on towards the tier 2 tower.
We'll have enough healing thanks to his passive to be able to stay alive there. Potentially stay in the lane. Might back a little soon, though, just to stay in and try to help defend this tier 2. Because Diesel, he's not looking for blood, he's looking for objectives. Happens to find blood in the way of objectives.
And I think that's where Heimdallr can really struggle a little bit, being baited into using that ultimate aggressively, potentially, or defensively, and instantly beats in response. I'm a monster over the wall! Not needed, because Sibyl will just track him with the monkey toss. Look at the little play there. Tier 2 tower should fall down this left-hand side, unless Heeed has something to say about it.
Well, he's going to make the rotation over. A lot of damage coming out from Diesel, though, to keep him low, but Diesel's even lower. Forced to ult away. Sibyl making a rotation in.
And now the chase on from Heeed, but Sibyl is here around the back. Fear no evil.
Good kill.
3 beads from Heeed there. It was very close, but not close enough to secure the kill on Diesel. And now SpreeeN was looking for the exit strategy from Diesel, but he was sustained a little bit off that Alpha Harpy. And because he's still hanging around, SpreeeN has just noticed him, blinks in, can't find the angle, and instead will end up falling down to Sibyl and Diesel's Gust.
Sibyl's 11-1-9. Are we sure he shouldn't be main roster jungle? Like, I understand where Cope can fit in here, but he's doing pretty well on this Hun Batz.
He is.
Granted, they're playing at a much faster pace than I think you would expect from a typical game, so he's benefiting from that. But as of right now, he's been chasing people down. Really good Fear No Evils in a lot of these fights to help save his team. Right now, the question is, can he save Sops?
Sops out of position, jumps over the wall. Luckily, he's not out of position because he got blinked, but Bayroneri is still giving chase and still focused on Sops. Team fight still going on, though. I'm a monster popped early for the mobility more than anything else. And there's no real opportunity to find the ult, and at the tail end it'll miss, as will Nesfor's ultimate. And now the trade against Diesel is not going beneficial for him. Meanwhile, you also saw SpreeeN, who's still dead, but it's Shiaaaaa who also fell, and now Sibyl will chase him down. The first gold fear of the game should now be secured.
And along with that Pyromancer earlier, Mexiety Onset turning their eyes to objectives and, well, farming themselves a pretty large lead. 12,000, almost 13,000 experience, 7,000 gold. And that gold is going to be felt, I think, more than anything. That thing I said earlier, that, you know, maybe you could turn into a Charon's coin, maybe you could you know, look elsewhere. It's become a Rod of Tahuti here for Sops, so he is going pure power early on. You don't typically get to see that item as of late.
I'll be honest, I really do think Rod of Tahuti, and I'm not going to give credit to Sops here because of these games, but the Rod of Tahuti has been a little bit slept on for my liking. It's got 160 power on it.
It's a lot of power.
That's a ton of power. And then the effect is technically you deal even more damage.
And for Scylla, who her entire kit is, hey, deal damage really well. It synergizes pretty well in that aspect. Plus, as time goes on, and what I've seen more from the Polynomicon procs, he is in the right position a lot of these times. With Blink, I expect him to continue being aggressive.
Right position, definitely debatable.
It might be a little bit hard term there.
A little bit debatable. Mando, they're going to take on Nesfor, and he's not really winning this trade. He's trying to buy time again. Last time he did souls out like this, he got himself a double kill, but there's no reinforcements really on the way. He does have better mobility, though, in a way to try and get away, but Nesfor still giving chase, and now Bayroneri round the back. MandoWarrior could be in trouble now. The Scythe's down. One basic will do it after the unstable Vortex.
And that's just unfortunate for him. I mean, he was almost completely out of there. Had his ult if he had been able to get it off a little sooner. Could have potentially flown away. But now it's Houdinis in control of the pace of the game. Diesel looking to try and turn that one around if he can find some kills.
Diesel will be able to continue keeping up the pressure towards Heeed, but he can resustain, and Diesel will fall before he can get the airstrike off. Next on the list is Bossy Bee, but round the back comes Sops, and of course, Little old Sibyl looking for the Fear No Evil, which is currently on cooldown, but Sops gets a double kill. Could look for the triple here towards Nesfor as he gets beads out of his ultimate to try and get himself some self-peel. Nesfor now going to get body blocked. Sorry, Sibyl body blocked there by Heeed. Great little play from him. It's a double kill for the set.
And that was maybe just a couple of misses from Sops that really seal it, but Nesfor reading the situation well, and Heeed coming in to save the day. 11-5 now for what was the solo lane set. He's essentially just become the second jungler as he's been rotating around, and he has been essential in keeping his team afloat in this. I mean, 11 out of the 25 kills is huge for him, but it's also been these moments much like that where he chases a couple people out, finds the kill onto Diesel, and then rotates in for Sibyl and Sops. And now he doesn't even care about fighting Mando. He knows he's tanky enough to do so.
I believe so. I think he's in a pretty strong position to continue this if he wants to, but he's got to be careful that Bossy Bee is on the way. However, Bossy Bee doesn't have his ultimate up. Execute available. Juked out again. Once more by Heeed, and now Nesfor is over here, and it's Bossy Bee who's the one really in trouble at the moment. He needs to hold on as long as he can, hoping really for the help from Diesel, who rotates in from the left-hand side. Airstrikes away from the ultimate out from Nesfor.
Nice kill.
Finds the kill onto Heeed, and now it's Nesfor in problems.
He recognized exactly where he needed to go to, and Diesel read it. Gets rid of Heeed, then focuses on Nesfor. Crit has the Deathbringer online with the fully stacked Rage now, so Mando ends up staying a little too long, dies off, but Diesel's getting big, so I guess honestly, at the end of the day, that's a trade I'd love to make. My Thanatos, he's not hitting his executes, what does he matter?
I agree. 60 kills, though, in 24 minutes. And the next
5 more
Fury.
and we hit the mark.
What was the mark?
65 was what Mifflin gave us earlier.
Is that what he said? 65. I'm a monster. We'll make sure it's one closer. And now SpreeeN could be the next on the cards. He's trying to buy a bit of time. Will eat that I'm a monster. 1,087 damage for that bad boy. And a nice ultimate out from Bossy Bee towards a different target there.
And now they're set up. In a normal game, I would say, hey, Fire Giant. They're 4 members down,
Good
and
goal.
you have, well, Diesel, who's huge, has crit online. He's perfect for this. They're definitely going to go for Pyromancer. Shiaaaaa has time to come in and ward. The question will be if they feel confident enough to grab this Fire Giant with him around.
Got to be a little bit careful, though, just Shiaaaaa here. He's the only man really around. Heeed now on the way back, potentially. Doesn't have teleport available to him. He did go for the Blink Beads option. We do have 3 blinks on either team here as well, so lots of blink potential. But it's all on Shiaaaaa, this. What can he do? The man, the myth, the legend. Yeah, well, you know, I guess I shouldn't have gone too far with the legend, as now he's going to get rooted and destroyed. Abduct will silence him out. Heed's in, though, and Heed's out. Nice and quick, another kill for Sops. And maybe with the Fire Giant on all members here, Gore, we could be getting towards the end of the game.
Bayroneri was just turning that around from being 4 members down, respawned, and, well, then immediately they were still 4 members down. Nesfor going to be able to get a kill, though. Trades his life for it, but, hey, gets rid of 1 member's Fire Giant. But again, it's on Mando, so you have to wonder if it's going to be completely worthwhile for them in the long run. Diesel, at this point in the game, is the one where has a huge target on his back. Go for him. Look at this Jing Wei and try to shut her down. It's difficult to lock her down thanks to her ult, but if you get rid of Diesel, you pretty much get rid of Mexiety.
Well, with Mando being dead, Sops on very low health here. He's just trying to get away and buy time, maybe get back towards Sibyl. Will hit the I'm a monster, but will die for the benefit of it. However, Sibyl will find Bayroneri. Nice little Aegis to buy him a second. A nice little jump there with the help of SpreeeN, and SpreeeN will get the kill on Sibyl.
Bossy Bee had ult there. Just going to throw that one out there. Did not save Sibyl in time. Was too busy looking for the damage. And SpreeeN's going to be able to get away with murder once again. And how Bossy Bee potentially caught out. Only being chased down by Shiaaaaa, so not in any imminent danger. But still, maybe pushed too far up. And, well, that Fire Giant came and went in terms of how much it's been utilized.
Well, this is the tail end of North America this week. This is the Week 2 finals going on between these 2 teams at the moment. And obviously, both of them have already qualified for the group stages. I'm very excited to see if they perform the same way in the group stages, because it'll make my work days a little bit quicker with how this is going to be the case. Because I don't think other teams, you know, will give this sort of performance. As an airstrike will connect, it'll be Bossy Bee getting credit for the kill at the tail end. And the question is, when will they try and end?
Yeah, Houdinis has spent much of the last few minutes perpetually dead, just depending on which member you look at. The timers have been staggered out the entire time. And realistically, they've only been able to trade most of their kills onto Mando, a little bit onto Sops as well, as Diesel finally going to get aggressive. Still has Fire Giant, and again, probably the member you want it the most on in terms of push capability. This Phoenix looks like it should go down, and they could even go for Titan. You have 2 members respawning, so it's a little dangerous game. Maybe join up with Mando on the right side instead, play it safe, and try not to throw at the variant.
Completely agree. Right inside, though, Mando trying to get a tier 1 Phoenix, I should say, after the Phoenix in the middle is already down. And with only 2 members up to defend, it's going to be a bit of a trickier ask out of Houdinis here. But can they pull the rabbit out of the hat? I don't think that's going to be the case. Thankfully for all involved here today, it won't be. And that should, hopefully, please, dear God, be the end of this set. And tomorrow we'll get some European action.
That's the, the polar opposite, right? You get the NA action, which is this many kills in this much time, although Titan still not going down. They're looking to farm more than they are to kill.
Let's not count our chickens before they hatch, but we don't know what you's going to do to us tomorrow, yeah.
It depends. I guess we're in week 2. Europe tends to, as time goes on, depending on the teams, as you pull them into the group stage, will speed up I don't want to call them lower end, but as you get towards the not top 8 that it then would have qualified, but they are typically a slower pace, especially at this level. So maybe not the polar opposite, but maybe more akin to normal.
Completely agree. And I think the one thing you'll see going forward, we've got 1 more week of these open circuits for North America left.
Yeah.
And then, well, the top 4 teams will go to the group from that. Everybody else, they will be playing in the Combine Open. I can't remember. Open circuit is what I should call it. However, this is all about the group stages for now. Do you think either of those teams have a chance of qualifying for the groups?
Honestly, yes, but not if they play like that. That's going to be the big key. I mean, Mexiety technically just had a reverse sweep, and that's pretty big in terms of what you're able to accomplish.
And without Cope.
I expect we'll see something different when we get to group stages, though.
Completely agree. Let's get it over, though, to Dave and Myth on the desk to close us out.